themselves, which is fine. I think that's like great. But there is something inauthentic about it, 110%. It's such
Feels
a
that way
money
to me.
grab. But to your point, she probably does need the money. She probably does need the money. So I guess what better way to do it? But I just have zero interest in listening, and I could care less about Lizzo. Do I like her birthday song? Sure. But I'm just like, of course you didn't quit. Like, of course.
And Shannen, the queen, hers is all authentic. It really is. I mean, and like, look, she just had that drama with Melissa Milano. I was actually there that weekend in Florida at that convention. She's like setting the record straight of things that were misconstrued about her in her life. And she has said, like, I've been offered to write my story many times, and this just feels right. And I'm sorry,
Well,
a
no one
woman.
really, people don't read books much anymore.
Right.
So
No, this is great. And like, I'm sorry, Shannon's not trying to change a narrative with Alyssa Milano. I mean, she's like, there's something about having a diagnosis that you're just like, I don't, I mean, talk about me not caring about anything. I live like I have a diagnosis because I understand that's where we're all headed. We all end up in the same place. But Shannon is not trying to spin any narrative on her podcast to get a click or a headline. It's completely like the mic is on, and she has broken down so many times on this podcast. And I'm sorry, it's authentic. It is.
and you're just not buying anything about Tori's. You're like, this chick needs money and she knows that podcasting's where it's at.
I mean, look, I mean, even look, is it a real divorce? I mean, this really is over with Dean, but like when even the other day, when she's like in the car and she's like sobbing, I don't know if you saw this, like she had a fight
Yeah,
with, and then like, I'm sorry, you
they
were
know.
born in Spelling Manor. People are watching, the game. So like you're sobbing and this and that. Like, I don't even think that is authentic. I think people are watching, and it's just the Spidey and Spencer and Heidi and Jax and Brittany. And it's like that genre of like Kyle and, Morgan can't stand the press. Well, you're at Chateau Marmont, bitch. Giorgio Baldi. So I don't buy it. I think it's like, it's too hyped. It's too hyped. Oh, and shocker, this breakdown and crying in the car is right around the time of the podcast launch. I mean, come on. I
I
don't,
know.
I don't, I
She
just,
knows the
I don't
game
buy it.
so well. I mean, I feel for her because, she's Hollywood royalty that we are never going to see again. You're never going to see an Aaron Spelling type director ever again for television creating this unbelievable Melrose Place and 90210. But so you think you're going to get that money. I mean, that's the most compelling story. But see, she won't talk about her mom, right? And I know that that's complicated too. Anyhow, I don't know. I'm with you. I think it's so inauthentic, and I'm like, all right.
I just want to know, and we'll move on to Jackson Brittany. I mean, Candy Spelling was on this podcast. Randy Spelling was on this podcast. By the way, when I go to these 90210 conventions, because I'm such a fan and I know Shannon now from going, like, I have to fucking see Tori. So, like, when I tell you I see Housewives out and it's uncomfortable, and it's like, they're like, yeah, hi. And I'm like, well, I mean, fuck off. When I see Tori, it's not a pleasant hi, you, great. Like, Tori and it's not pleasant. But then I'm just like, I look
Okay.
right past her and I'm like, hey, queen. I call I call Shannon a queen right in front of Tori. So I'm like a little bitch. But Tori fucking hates me. But anyway, Candy Spelling. I just wonder, this is where my sick mind goes. When Candy does move on in the world, and hopefully that's a long time from now, where's Candy's hundreds of millions of dollars going? Is it going to the pets? Is it going like Leona Helmsley left the money to her pet? Is she going to leave this to her dogs, her beloved dogs? Is she going to leave it to Josh Flagg, her best friend? Is she just going to leave it? Or
Hope
is this
not.
going to go to the grandchildren? I don't know.
I hope
I have a
so. I
feeling it's
hope
a
it goes there.
weird, complicated relationship. I could see something weird going down, but I hope so too. These are the things that keep me up at night.
Well, they're good questions. All right. Well, back to Vanderpump Rules, season
Yeah.
11, episode 10, Line in the
Yeah.
Sand. I thought it
Mm.
was amazing television. This is a woman, Ariana, who is still in love with Tom Sandoval and has to see him every single day and is tortured by it.
You
Um,
think that's the bitterness? You think it's that she is in love?
yeah, because if you're over somebody, like I've said from the start with this whole thing, it was a betrayal, but nobody gets cheated on and becomes a multi-millionaire. Okay. So, truly, yes, I think she is still in love with him 100%. And I think,
Mm.
like, you already have realized this in life, right? Money makes your life so much easier. But if you are not
Mhm.
already happy and well in the mind, it means absolutely nothing. I don't care if you're worth $50 million. You live in your own mental prison.
Mhm.
She's in her own mental prison. Honey, for me,
Mhm.
I would go, oh, well, I wish it didn't take 9 years for this to happen, but look at the reward. Hello, I'm famous. I'm rich. I'm beautiful. I'm still young. I can still have a child. I'm going to be with someone that really wants to be with me. Thank you, Sandoval. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
but
I agree. I'm like, I've
she's
got my
not
shit
there.
figured out. In addition to coaching, and we'll be announcing some things soon, I'm also available as like a life coach.
Oh,
Um,
hire
since
him.
I
Oh,
know it all, apparently. Bethenny even told me that I did. Yeah, no, if you're mentally have it figured out, yeah, money solves everything. If you don't, it doesn't solve anything. I agree with you. I didn't necessarily put this together, but I'm interested in this analysis of yours. I don't know why no one's not asking this question of her of why are you still in love with Sandoval? It seems that way, huh? Because if you're really like right, like I even did like one of my I do the afternoons now twice a week. I do the quick hits. I actually just said this the other day, not about that. I found that very interesting. I was like, is Ariana really even that mad anymore? Or is this just acting? Because I don't understand it either. It's like she replaced Sarah Hyland from Modern Family on Love Island.
huge,
One, I don't
huge.
listen, I don't know what you got to be on Broadway in Chicago. Nobody turns down Broadway. It is a great credit. She's coming out the stage door. People are going. When they do the curtain call, they say, and Ariana Madix, the audience goes wild. She is packing people in. Lisa Rinna was in that show, Brooke Shields, Erica Jane. It is total stunt casting, but she's doing great. That's how that show works. But you didn't get $1 million to go on Broadway. So whatever the nice paycheck was and this stuff, shaving your legs with Bic razor, with all these things that added up, this is one gig for $1 million to host Love Island. And when a girl is in the corner crying, she's going to go over and say, listen, honey, I know all about dogs in the industry and being cheated on. And like, it's a great gig. She can do it. She's well spoken. It's a good fit. You got it because of Scandal. So what is the problem? Why do you hate this guy? I agree with you. There are
He's
so many wonderful men out there. I have bad news for Daniel. I don't think it's him. I don't think this is going to last. I think it's a rebound, but you are going to meet like a real like 43-year-old accountant who has like a good job and is not into any of this craziness and just has a good living, and you're just going to fall madly passionate unless you really fucking hate yourself and you secretly need to be treated like shit to fulfill what you
that could
actually
be.
think about yourself. But I think that if you've worked your shit out, you're going to meet a great guy. You're going to have tons of money. You're going to have a great fucking life, dude. You're in like, what is she, 39, 37, 40? Like you got long years left, girl.
Long, fabulous years. Yes, I believe.